Hello there and welcome to this special episode of our Luminar NEO Academy, the show where we help you to get the most out of this photo editing application. Now, if you've never been here before, my name is Jakub and I'm a creator and founder here at Clever Photographer. In this special episode, we're going to be looking at the latest update of Luminar NEO Mark 1.1.0. This latest update is coming with the highly anticipated portrait background removal tool. However, we will go through the full list of all the updates and features coming with this version. After that, I'm going to show you how to make sure that you have the latest version or how you can install it. And finally, we will jump into the Luminar NEO, where I will show you how to use and edit with all the new features and tools. So the Luminar NEO 1.1.0 update is here, bringing you the long-anticipated portrait background removal feature. It will allow you to select the human in your photo and automatically remove the background behind them. But that's not all, there are some other really exciting updates. First of all, you will be able to export images with transparency. Now you will be able to export them in a PNG, TIFF and JPEG 2000 format. The next set of updates is focusing on the Layers panel. First, you will be able to use raw files in Layers panel. Then you will be able to fit, fill and stretch your layers when you add them through the Layers panel, which will make the transformation of the layers much easier. Another great update is the option to reorder layers. You will be able to move them around now. Transparency I already talked about. After that, there are some really nice updates to the Crop AI tool. There are also some updates to the erase button. And finally, my favorite, shift option is now available for all the brushes in Luminar NEO, including the erase tool and all masking. Additionally, Skylum fixed 20 bugs across the Mac and Windows version of Luminar NEO, and hopefully it will be even more stable than before. If you want to see the full list of updates and fixed bugs, I really suggest you to visit the Skylum website and look for the What's New section there, focusing on Luminar NEO and specifically the update 1.1.0. So that was the list of updates, and now I'm gonna show you how to make sure that you have the latest version of Luminar NEO, and if not, how to install it. Now, before we going to continue, I have a quick announcement to make about our Luminar NEO Power Bundle. If you want to find out more about this bundle, make sure to follow the link in the description of the video to find out more about the incredible 966 new elements that you can use to power up your Luminar NEO tools. With the new update, you will get extra high definition skies, overlays, backgrounds, textures, sky objects, LUTs and presets. Now with this new update, we are celebrating the addition of the portrait background removal tool into Luminar NEO, and the bundle now includes over 93 incredible backgrounds that you can use on your new projects. To top it off, the bundle now also includes additional 23 check layers that can be used to do some color grading and color matching directly in Luminar NEO. So if you want to find out more about our Power Bundle, make sure you follow the link in the description. So as you can see, we are in Luminar NEO, and for the moment we are in the catalog module. Most likely you already been prompted with the update message, and if that's the case, just follow the update step by step. But since we already here, let's check what version you are on right now. So how to do that? We're gonna go up into the toolbar and we click on Luminar NEO. Under that, there is an option called About Luminar NEO. So you click on that, and that opens this little window. Now as you can see, I'm on Luminar NEO Update 1 version 1.1.0. Now this is the pre-release version, and there is a chance that your text may be going to look a little bit differently. However, if your version say 1.7, you still need to install the update. Now as I'm recording this before the updates being released, I cannot show you on this actual version. However, I'm gonna show you on the previous version so you can see how to install this update. What you need to do is to go up to your toolbar and click on Luminar NEO. Inside of that, there is the Check for Updates button. So you click on that, and it takes a second, and then it prompts you with this message. the software update, a new version of Luminar NEO is available, and then Luminar NEO 1.0.7 is now available. You have 1.0.6. Would you like to download it now? So of course we would. So what we need to do is to click on Install Update. So now it's gonna take a moment. As you can see, it's over 4 gigabytes big. So we let it run down and then we'll come back to it. After the download is finished, it's going to extract it and prepare it for this window, ready to install. So now it's really simple. You just click on Install and relaunch. Once the installation is over, it reopens the application and you will be ready to use it. So there you have it. This is how you install your update. Once you're back into the application, you should double check that you're running the latest version. And again, to do that, you just need to go up into the toolbar, click on Luminar NEO, click on About Luminar NEO, and make sure that your version say 1.1.0. So now we finish updating the software and it's time to jump into it and for me to show you how we can use all these updates and new features. So right from the beginning, we're going to be looking at the highly anticipated portrait background removal tool. So as you can see, we are in Luminar NEO, we are in the edit module, and we're going to be working on this portrait image. Now the first question is where to find the tool. So we're going to be focusing on our main toolbar, which is on the right side of your screen, and all the way on the top we have the new option called Layer Properties. If you've been using Luminar NEO for a while, you know that this option was here whenever you work with Layers panel. However, now it's available for all the different images. So when you open the Layer Properties by clicking on it or clicking on the little arrow next to it, it opens and it gives you the option of the properties and masking. The first 4 options were here earlier, and now we have the 5th option called Portrait Background. So we can open that by clicking on it. And as you can see, the AI is getting ready to prepare the image for the background removal. Once the AI is finished, it gives you the option to remove. So all you need to do is to click on the button and it will remove the background. Once the removal is finished, it will prompt you with the message removed, and now you can start to use the image. So let's have a look at it. It did a really good job removing the background, even around the hair, all over around the nails. Now we have a few kind of gray lines around her cheeks, but other than that, it did very good job removing the background. Now, of course, you have some additional options of how you can refine the removal, and I will show you that on another example. So here we are with example number 2, which is a little bit more complicated. As you can see all around the hair, it has lots of details. So let's see how the background removal is going to do. So the first part is very much the same as with the first example. We're going to go to our main toolbar, then all the way on the top the layer properties, inside of it the tab called masking, and finally the portrait background button on the bottom of our list. The AI will work its magic and prepare it for the removal. Once it's ready, it will prompt you with the button remove, and once you click on it, it will remove the background. Again, when it's finished, it will give you the message removed, and now you can start to work with the image. Now looking at it, again, it did very decent job removing the background. However, we have few bits and pieces left around which needs to be fixed. So how are we gonna do this? We're gonna click on the refinement brush, and that will open a whole new option. So we pretty much have 3 zones here. We have the blue, white or transparent, and the orange. So the orange section is representing the object, so the person or the portrait. The transparent section is representing the transition between the background and your main object, and the blue section is representing the background. Now this is not a mask, it's just a way to help the AI to navigate around and recognize the different elements of the image. Now we have a full video explaining you everything about the portrait background removal tool. So if you want to go deep into this, you can watch it right now. It's available on our YouTube channel, and the link to it should be in the top right corner of your screen. But for now, let's continue with the video. So very quickly, how do we adjust the different areas? Well, it's really simple. It uses the brush technique. So on our refinements brush section, we have the transition button, object button, and background button. Then we can adjust the size of the brush, which also uses the shortcut just like any brush in Luminar NEO. So for example, if I want to add something to the background, I need to click on the background, and then I can just paint over that section, and as you can see, it will be added to the background area. If I want to add something to the object, I can paint over that area and it will be added to the section of the object. And finally, if I want to add something to the transition area, I just click on the transition and paint over the area. So for this, we can use the example of the area here where it didn't do a great job. So let's just zoom in by using Command or Control plus, navigate with your space bar and see what's happening here. So as you can see, the AI recognized this as part of the object, where this should be really part of the transition. So what we can do is make sure that you are on the transition, adjust the size of your brush, and then simply paint over this area to remove it. So it takes a moment and then it removes the area and create a really nice transparency behind the hair. We can do the similar for this area right here, just remove a little bit of it. Again, if you want to play around with it, you're more than welcome to do so. You can just see what works the best on the image. If some parts of it not working really well, you can then go to the object and paint over it to bring it back to what it was. Now let's zoom out, and if we want to see the image without all these zones, all you need to do is to click and close the refinement brush section. Once you do that, it will disappear and you can see the final result of the background removal. Now, of course, that this is only the first part of your masking, because what you can do now is to go back to your main part of the masking. You can go into the mask actions, you can show the mask, and now by using any of the tools you have available, including brush, linear gradient, radial gradient, mask AI, and so on, you can jump in and mask out or in any part of the image you would like. So while we have this image here with remove background, it's good time to talk about another feature coming with this update, and that's the possibility of exporting your images with transparency. So how would we do this? Once again, we have removed the background of this image, and now to export it, there are multiple different ways you can do it. However, just right click on the image and click on export. That will open the exporting window, and if you want to go deep into exporting, you can watch our exporting tutorial, and the link should be available now in the top right corner of your screen. So looking at it, once again, we have a possibility of different formats, and we have the new option called Save Transparency. Now the transparency is available only for 3 file formats: the JPEG 2000, the PNG, and the TIFF. So once you have everything set, so let's say we're gonna use the JPEG 2000, we need to make sure that our Save Transparency is checked. Then you need to select the location, name your file, and when you're ready, you just click on Save. It's gonna take a moment to export, and after that you can start to use the image with a transparent background for any type of photo editing, for example for composite using the Layers panel here in Luminar NEO. So now we know how the portrait background removal works, as well as how to export your images with transparency. So now it's time to turn our attention towards the Layers panel, where there are some new updates that will make the editing much easier. Starting with adding a new layer and getting the possibility to fit, fill, and stretch the layer after you import it. So how are we gonna do this? We are in the Layers panel, we click on a plus sign, and we will pick this layer to add it to our layers. So now we have the layer on our layers list as well as on our image. The first thing you can notice is the speed of adding the new elements, which has been really improved. Now the next thing you can notice is that compared to the previous versions, now the layer doesn't get stretched across the whole image. It will retain its ratio. Then we turn our attention towards the layers properties. On the layer properties, on the bottom of it, we have 3 new buttons: fit, fill, and stretch. And this really makes life much easier because you can just click on it and it will fit it to the image. Then you can click on it and it will fill the image. And finally, if we go back to fit and then click on stretch, it will stretch it across the whole image. So this can really speed up the process of adding new layers and make your life so much more easier. Turning our attention towards the opacity, once again we can increase it, and compared to the previous version, you can now double click on the name of the opacity and that will reset it back to its default value, which in this case is 50. So let's increase it. Again, click on Fit, which will fit the whole image in your frame. Fill, which will fill in without stretching it. And then go back to Fit and Stretch, and that it stretch it across the whole image. Now the next feature and update is a big one for anybody who works with the layers here in Luminar NEO, and that's the possibility to reorder the layers. So let's have a look at it. Let's click on the plus sign on our layers panel and let's bring this layer in. Now quickly jumping into layer properties, let's increase the opacity, and looking at the image mapping, it's already stretched across, so we don't need to worry about anything else. So let's return to our layers panel, and now all you need to do is to drag and drop the layer and reorganize them as per your need. Now this makes life much easier, and it takes away the need of exporting layers and then adding them in the right order. You can really be so much more creative. An additional update for the layers is also the fact that you can now use raw files as a layers, and you can import them exactly the same way as you would do with any other layers before. You would simply click on plus sign and then click on load image, locate the raw file, click on open, and it will appear in your My Images section. Now the next update, even though it's a small one, is focusing on Crop AI tool. So let's have a look at it. We are still in Luminar NEO, we are in the edit panel, working on the same image, and we are focusing on a Crop AI tool, which is in our main toolbar on the top under layer properties. We open it by clicking on it, and let's have a look at what changed here. Initially, in the past versions, we had a purple button on the top called Crop AI, and this was now replaced by the Composition AI. It pretty much does the same thing, however, it been moved around and it changed the appearance. After that, we also got the new button called Apply, and that was added to make the life a little bit easier for everybody who is doing cropping. Previously, you had to choose the crop by going into our drop-down box in a ratio, so for example 4:5, and then you would have to hit enter or close the tool to apply it. Now what you can do is you can click on the apply button, and it takes a moment and it does the crop for you. Now we have 2 updates to go, so let's jump straight into it. In this one, we're going to be looking at the erase tool. So once again, we are in Luminar NEO, we are in edit module, and we're going to be working on this image here. Let's focus on our erase tool, which is part of our essential tools in the main toolbar, and you open it by clicking on it. Then we have different options. Skylum mentioned that the button has improved and changed. However, I really haven't noticed the difference, but still, let's see what else is new. First, what we're gonna do is we're gonna click on remove the power lines, and we will let the Luminar NEO AI remove the power lines from the image. Once it's finished, it will prompt you with the power lines removed message, and you can get on with the editing. It did really good job in removing the power lines, however it kept the pole behind. So how would we erase it now? Well, until now, we would just adjust the size of our brush, click on select to make sure that we selecting what we want to remove, and by hand, we would have to go on and try to select the best we can all the different elements. However, now let's clear it. However, now we can use Shift to make our life so much easier. Let's make the brush a little smaller, and all you need to do is to click on the top of the pole, hold Shift on your keyboard, click on the bottom of the pole, and that will select the whole pole. Now this will speed up your photo editing process and the process of erasing so much, as it makes life so much easier. It's just a few seconds. Click again and click. Now once you select everything, you just click on erase. It takes few seconds and it erases the pole. Now we can zoom in. Let's have a look at this pole. Again, adjust the size, click on the top, hold Shift, click on the bottom, then again from the side, on one side, hold Shift on the other side. Once everything is selected, just click on erase. And there you have it. It's a small improvement, but it's something what will really speed up the process of erasing. Now we are almost finished going through all the updates coming with the 1.1.0 update. However, I really wanted to make sure that you understand that the shift method is working for all the brushes in Luminar NEO. So what do I mean by that? Let me show you. We are again in Luminar NEO, we are in the edit module, and we are going to be working on this image. The first idea is that I want to increase the brightness of the road to bring more attention to it. How we can do this? We can do this multiple different ways, but for us, we're going to be using the develop tool in our essential tools in the main panel, and we're going to be in the light tab where we need to increase the exposure. Of course, now the exposure is increasing across the whole image, so we need to use a masking to make sure that we only increasing the exposure on the road. So we go into our masking tab, and before we're going to go to the brush, I want to go into the mask actions and click on show mask. So that way we see where the mask is with this little red overlay. Now we can click on our brush, and now we need to adjust the brush. As we want to add the brightness just to the road, we need to make sure that we are on a paint button, and now we need to adjust the size. So let's make it nice and big. Let's say something like this is looking good. Then we need to bring down the softness, let's say around 14, and the strength can be on 100. Now we need to make one dot on the top, so just one click, one paint, and you can see the red is appearing only on the top of the road. And now we need to hold the shift and make another dot on the bottom of the road. And after we do that, you can see how it painted perfect line from one point to the other and speed up the process again hugely. If you want to make additional adjustments, you can adjust the size and then just paint wherever you missed. However, this is a great improvement and something that really speed up the process of post-processing. Now, while we're here, let me show you on another example. So we will close the develop tool, move to our glow tool, and we will just increase the amount of glow across the image. Now, all I want to do is to add the glow to the trees on this side and this side. You already guessed it, we're going to jump into the masking. And in the masking, we want to go into mask actions and click on show so we can see the mask. Right now, the red overlay is everywhere as we applying it to the whole image. So we need to go into the brush, and here we need to adjust the size of the brush. So let's say something like this. Softness, maybe just decrease it a little bit. Maybe the size as well, and the strength to 100. So now we can just click on the top of the image, one dot, hold shift, click on the bottom, then go to the side, still hold shift, click again, go to the top, click again, and holding a shift, I can really quickly select the trees and be done with it in no time. Now let's go back to our adjustments and let's see the before and after.
And now it's time to get your gift. If you want to get access to our Luminar NEO shortcut cheat sheet, all you need to do is to head to our website cleverphotographer.com/luminargift. And there you can download the cheat sheet and start to use it right away. And there you have it. So I hope you had fun and I hope you learned something new. If you did, please make sure that you like, comment and share our video. And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel so we can keep creating content like this. For today, thank you very much for watching. My name was Jakub and I can't wait to see you in the next video.